Let's check out this active volcano that is Deception Island.
Our hard-working, diligent skipper, what's going on, mate?
Well, I'm just having a little snooze in the saloon here. We're 30 miles from Snow Island, which is our landfall on the Antarctic Peninsula. And from there, it's about 20 miles through to Deception Island. So, yeah, maybe 7-8 hours away from dropping anchor in Antarctica.
Our first sight of land in Antarctica was Smith Island. Then we saw our first iceberg. Wasn't exactly the Ross ice shelf, I can tell you that, but, and it might not have been enough to actually get a can of rum and coke cold, but our first iceberg all the same. So here we are, Antarctica, beauty. We have just crossed Drake's Passage, one of the stormiest waters in the world. In fact, it has an absolute rip of a reputation, and we have had a glamour crossing. Mind you, we've got to get back, so touch wood will be right. All we got was about 25 knots on the beam. Very, very nice indeed. Now we are in Antarctic waters. Behind me here, Deception Island. Why do they call it Deception Island? Because from the outside it looks like a big lump of solid rock. It is in fact shaped like a horseshoe, and there is a protective bay in there where we're going to anchor. It was used by whalers and sealers at the turn of the century to process their catch. It is also one of the most visited destinations by tourists, particularly on cruise ships in Antarctica, so we'll see one or two of them in there. But for now, we're heading to our first landfall in Antarctica. The blizzard navigates its way through the narrow gap that's the entrance to Whalers Bay and Deception Island. We drop anchor in Deception Island. It is in fact an active volcano. In order to be able to get to land, we watch as Digit and Pete pump up the dinghy. With an unbelievable sunset, we can see steam rising from the land. As the cold water touches the heat from the active volcano, we watch as the penguins and the wildlife are shrouded by steam. In this barren landscape, we can see the remnants of a once huge industry that existed down here in the processing of whale blubber. And of course the storage in the massive vats. This is an old hangar, that's right. The British used to have an airbase down here in Whalers Bay, and the idea was that they could have support services for their meteorology team that were working down here. Let's go and check out some of the whalers' huts over here. We're looking at the main hall and the mess hall, and of course the sleeping quarters that used to house the men that worked down here. These headstones remind us of the reality of how tough life was and still is down here in Antarctica. I'll tell you what, it's the icy Antarctic waters. Whew, about there will do. Volcanic activity, mate. Warm as toast. A little bit dirty, quick scrub, I tell you, this isn't bad at all. Oh, you reckon I'm crazy? This is fair dinkum warm. Volcanic activity under here. The hot earth makes this water that's lapping out here, that's freezing cold, coming to the shoreline. It's like having a hot bath. In fact, it's burning me bum. After exploring Whalers Bay, it was time to further explore the big white continent. So we headed back to the yacht to haul anchor and head further south. Here we are steaming up the New Channel. We had the sails up earlier and it was absolutely beautiful. It's not often apparently that you can sail in these parts of Antarctic waters because generally a high sits off the coast here. But today we had a magnificent sail in just a couple of knots of breeze. It was beautiful. As I said, now we're steaming up the New Channel, heading to Port Lockroy, our next anchorage. And as you can see around me, it is wicked. You've got the cliffs coming down to meet the sea. You've got the glaciers coming down to meet the sea. Breathtaking.
We're just sailing down the New Channel at the moment, and there's big mountain ranges on either side. And we noticed there's a lot of green sort of verdigris coming out of the rock, so probably loaded with minerals. And by 2042, when the Antarctic Treaty gets renegotiated, they'll have the drilling platforms down here and be mining the stuff out of it, which would be a great shame because all we'd have to see for at the end of that would be some cheap copper ore.
Here we are, still cruising up the passage, whatever it's called, to Lockroyd. Across to starboard, we're 200 metres from the shore. See all the rocks, little rocks just out from there. On our depth right now, 598 feet in 200 metres. Pretty steep.
What's going on, Skipper?
Well, we're just coming into Port Lockroyd. Pop the dinghy over because we're going to run a few lines ashore, drop the anchor, basically strap ourselves in. Tomorrow it's going to blow up a little bit, so we'll hang out here and we'll make a good job of it today, making sure we're nice and secure.
The strong winds down here mean that we can't rely on the anchor alone to hold our ground during a big blow. With additional synthetic rope, we secure the blizzard to an additional 4 points to the land. Chains are used around the rocks so as not to chafe through the mooring lines. And once we've tied off with one of the best yachts you'll ever find, the bowline, we hope to be safe and secure from the strong winds that threaten the safety of the blizzard. Hang about, because on the other side of the break we are going to check out the southernmost post office in the world.